This might possibly be the most boring of videos that I have done so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Instagram Live on at the same time as I'm doing this, so that I can kill two stones with one bird. So the first thing is, I just need to get my heart rate monitor on as well. There's all the Bluetooth. So I'm going to put my heart rate monitor on here, which then means I can keep my heart rate at the right zone. And I've got this beautiful microphone on as well. This is ridiculous. Right, let's get the heart rate on. So the plan is just to be biking at about 120 to 140 beats per minute. Got my laptop here. I'll do a bit of work if I need to. And then I'm going to go onto Instagram and do the Instagram Live at the same time whilst I'm doing it, so I can get everything done at once. Then I will go through the questions that I got asked on Instagram earlier and go from there. First thing is, just going to have a drink. So Instagram Live is starting now. So what the plan is I'm going to go through and answer the Q&A. If anyone wants to join in on the live video, awesome. I'll answer whatever questions you've got. I'm doing both of them at the same time, so there might be questions from both different places. This is connected to that one, and there's nothing to connect to this one. So I will go through the questions roughly in order. We're going to be on here anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. So anything you want me to go over, let me know, and we'll go from there. First thing I'm going to go through is real boring stuff, which is just the training from earlier on. Hi to all the people that have joined in. So let's pull up your questions and I'll answer them. So the very first question is, how long have you been coaching strength athletes? So this one is, it depends on what you count as coaching strength athletes. So if you take the first time that I was paid to do it, it will be when I was 18. I'll be 31 next month. So 12, 13 years of coaching strength athletes, one way, shape or form. There's one on here now who's relatively new. When someone joins, request to join, you are more than welcome to join. So 12 years, roughly, give or take. But I specifically only have been working with strength athletes for maybe 9 or 10. So I also coach in person, and I have coached non-strength athletes too. So I've got some physique athletes, but mostly strength athletes that I deal with online. So that's a really straightforward one. Now, next up, we have, what's your proudest achievement? I don't know. That's very deep. That's not something I've really thought about that much, to be honest. I have no idea. I do the thing and then just move on to whatever the next thing is. I don't really spend too much time dwelling on it. Something I was pleased about actually is, so if you follow me, you probably know, tore my pec and my bicep and kept dislocating my shoulder, had 2 reconstructions, to then after that come back and bench. I've done 160 now. Pretty pleased about that. I don't think I'm genetically predisposed to be super strong, so pretty happy with that. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say anything else in particular. The next one. This one. So it really, all the grammar on it is, I'll just read it. So, disappointed, kind of FK it attitude, but I want to be great again. I can't understand my mental block. That sounds like that's probably deeper than something that I can answer straight on like an Instagram live story. I would probably try and figure out whatever your why is, whatever the reason is that you do the things that you do, and then work backwards. So whatever like your core values, core goals and stuff are, and then off the back of that, make a plan, because it ultimately at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you feel, it only matters about the actions that you take. So if it's talking about training, you don't have to feel good to train, do you? You just need to do the training. Just get the training done, move on, and move forward onto the next session. So that would be the approach that I would take. But obviously if you've got other stuff going on in your life, then I don't know. Oh, there's a second part to this one. So, falling off the wagon, how to get back on, the fact that I'm out of shape compared to my top form got me disappointed, got me down. I'm not sure which it is. But yeah, so what I would do, again, go back to whatever your goals are. This just cut me off. How bizarre. So it just cut me off halfway through the stream. I don't know if I just caught it or something. So this person that was saying about being disappointed, I would just figure out why you didn't achieve the goals. Did you do the things you were supposed to be doing, or did you not? Because if you didn't, then it's not a surprise really. So why would you be surprised about it? Next one. Why are front raises so great? If you've got boobs, can you still do them properly? They're great if you want to train your front delt directly, and they're great as an accessory for bench. They're probably not great if you just wanted to have like a nice symmetrical balanced physique, which is what most people want, but not most people that I work with. Most people that I work with want to just be really strong. And so if you want to be really strong in specific movements, you do the things that get you really strong in those movements. And the second part said, can you do them if you have boobs? I don't see why not. Like that movement there. I mean, I don't have big boobs, but like I got a bit of man boobs here. So like I can do it. You could even go a bit wider with a front raise. So I can't see that being an issue, to be honest. So that answers the questions. I should have probably, when I did this, I should have probably not just put the Q&A up 20 minutes ago, so there'll be more. But that's it anyway. So for today, for training, I trained at the bodybuilding gym this morning, and then this is my like afternoon session, if it really counts as a session. So I started off with my Cloyd flies. So from that position there, up and down like that on an incline bench. I did 10 reps with 2 kilos, 10 reps with 4 kilos, and 10 reps with 6 kilos. Super exciting. Between every set, I did 10 dislocations with a relatively thick band, so all the way around and back. And then I went on to second time I finished that today. That's 4 litres, plus the water and the other stuff I've had. Anyway, McLeod fly, then incline dumbbell press. So it's a bit of like a hypertrophy type block at the minute. I don't know if filming this whilst I was biking was a good idea. My heart rate is about 126, 127. Incline dumbbell bench. Plan was 5x5, RPE 8.5. So last week I did 30 and 32 my sets. This week I started at 32, I did 30, started at 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. So there was 6 sets, but the first 3 sets were pretty easy. I didn't really want to keep going up more and more because up to the 40s from the 32 is obviously a big jump compared to last week. So I'm really pleased with that. Like I say, relatively that's heavy dumbbell pressing for me. But all the extra calories obviously being put to good use. And then I did seated overhead dumbbell press, just 3x10. So 2 sets of 24, 1 set of 26. When I'm doing them, I'm trying to get as low as I can before obviously the dumbbells then just hit your shoulder. So like full range of motion, do half rep, all the way up, and then as low down as I can, nice and controlled. Just 3 sets of that, dead easy. Tricep extension, and still get some irritation in my elbow on both push down and extension, but that crossbody one, that feels good. So just do 3 sets with that. Machine fly, 3 sets with that. Incline dumbbell curl, 4 sets 10. Dead easy, dead simple, nice and straightforward. And then this bike, so it says I've been on for 10 minutes now, so I'm using the Polar, I think it's OH1 heart rate monitor. I've got that on my phone here. Just keeping track of my heart rate whilst I do this. Been like a normal day. So today I got a new laptop, which is just behind you. But as with all of these things, you get it and it needs to update and download stuff and whatever. So I've got it set up, changed all my desk setup, and then the laptop's just sat there updating, which is why I've just jumped on this now. That's not too bad. So I'll leave that to get updated, and tomorrow I should be able to get cracking with it. And then I've been wanting to get the exercise library filmed, but I went to ASC yesterday to do some stuff with some connections and some Wi-Fi and stuff like that. They needed someone there who could make a decision, basically. Turned out they couldn't do the work anyway, so it was a wasted journey. For that specific bit, for some other stuff it wasn't, but I could have done them another day. But anyway, I'm trying to update some of the coaching. So I coach lots of people. That's probably not a surprise. I talk about it fairly often. But I'm at the point now of where I can only coach a couple more people on like a one-to-one basis realistically. So I'm trying to get the system set up so that I can basically open it up to more people for much, much cheaper for them, but still give them a good service. So there's a lot of extra work on the front end that needs doing. One of the things is really simple, but it's just a lot. So I've got a full exercise library, 772 different exercises. Every single one of them has a description, has a video demo, and all that kind of stuff. It's just the physical hours it takes to actually create it. So a lot of it's done, but like to then upload it to the different bits and pieces and stuff. But once it's done, then it's done. So that's like a project that I'm working on, but it's not like it's intellectually difficult. It just takes time, and there's no way to make it go faster, really. So that's something that I'm working on. And in the meantime, just carrying on with training. So right now is the beginning of week 2 of this hypertrophy type block. Everything's moving really well. Body feels good. Got a little bit of a belly. To be fair, I've just had about 45 minutes ago, I think it will be 6 sausages, but they were made into like meatballs with various spices and nuts and whatever else, and a bunch of bread cakes, bread rolls, depending on where you're from, bread baps, different names, with gravy in them. And although none of it bothers my stomach, that, and then down in that water, I sat here with like a little belly. Weight sat at like 93 to 94, depending on the day. Joints feel good, apart from the couple of movements on my elbows. Strength wise, feel okay, but I haven't really done enough to know for definite. I'm thinking, I was looking at dates earlier, and I think for the competition, let me have a look. I've got this right in front of me. I can check. So, what are we on today? 16th. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, minus a day or two, until the first competition. To be fair, right now, I feel healthy enough to run a peak, but I don't think I could peak to 700. So instead, I'm running like a base block and then try and peak for 700. I also don't know if, well, I'm torn on this. So if you're watching this, I'd be interested to know your opinion. So part of me is thinking, if I do hit the 700 in March, will I then carry on to compete later on in the year? Or will I just be like, 700 is done, it's cool, move on to something else? Whereas if I just totaled 697.5, then I would be much more inclined to go for 700 later on in the year. I honestly don't know. I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll just try and do what I can on the day. So my plan, what I'm kind of thinking and leaning towards is do the competition in 6 weeks' time, go up to like somewhere between second and third attempts for what my plan is for 700. So let's put some numbers in here. So let's say the last time I went 250, 265, 272.5. On squat, I went 150, 160, 167.5. I failed. And then on dead, I went 220, 247.5, and I did not take a third. So if I sum these, some terrible maths on here. My second attempt on all three lifts was a 662.5 total, and my actual total was, I just told you a lie, it wasn't, I had the wrong number in. So my second attempts were a 672.5 total. My third attempt were only a 680 total. So in order to hit a PB total, but not quite be at the 700, if I squatted 270, if I benched 162.5 and deadlifted 250, that would be a 682.5 kilo total. So without getting a squat PB, but it would be a small bench PB, small deadlift PB, and I think both of them are probably there, to be honest. That would be 682.5, nice 2.5 kilo total. That's obviously not 700. To get to 700 at my current ratio, I have to put a fair bit more on my squat, but I think what's more realistic is putting a big chunk on my deadlift instead. So let's go 2.5 kilo squat PB, 5 kilo bench PB. So then that means I'd have to get a 12.5 kilo deadlift PB. So 275 squat, 165 bench, 260 deadlift. It shouldn't be like that really, unless grip is the issue, which it shouldn't be. For me, I mean, especially because I pull hook, you should really be deadlifting the same as you squat, unless you're a heavyweight. And I'm heavy, I'm not heavyweight yet. So realistically, that deadlift should also be 275. So 275, 165, 275. That's a 715 total. That'd be quite something. And this one, there is actually weight classes as well. So it's either under 93 or 105. It's a day or 2 days after my birthday as well. I've entered 93, so it should be fine, but I'm not like desperate to try and make weight or anything. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, I think that might be it. I'll have a look, see if we've got any more questions on Instagram. Excuse me. I always get hiccups when I have food. That's unusual for some reason. Right. A couple of new questions. What are your goals? Come on. Really? You don't know that by now? 700 total. Easy. Next one, how many calories? I don't know if they mean for them or for me. So for me, it's about 4,300 now. For them, I don't know. Depends how active you are. For nutrition stuff, I must have said this 1 billion times. Right. If you're doing it for strength, first thing is you need to make sure you're eating enough protein. So 2 to 3 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. There's a big range there, so you've got loads of freedom, loads of choice. If you don't know, just go slap bang in the middle, 2.5. So let's just pretend someone is 100 kilos, because it makes the maths much easier. That's 200 to 300 grams of protein. Simple. Next thing, fat. 0.5 to 1 gram per kilo. So 0.5 is the lowest I would go. 1 gram is the highest I would go, unless it's just a preference or practical thing. So let's go at the high end. We'll go with 1 gram per kilo, so 100. So we've got 2 to 300 protein. So let's go 250 protein. We've got 100 fat. And the next thing is whatever calories are remaining. So each gram of protein is 4 calories. So that's 1,000 calories just on protein. Each gram of fat is 9. So that's 900 calories on fat. So we're at 1,900. The next bit depends on their goals. So, for strength, my general thoughts on training for strength and for anything else is you should get as lean as you can first without it affecting your quality of life, if you look at this from long term, and then try and spend as much time gaining as possible. So I prefer short, aggressive fat loss phases, because in general, for most strength athletes, you're not actually getting that lean. Like me at my leanest, it's like a year ago or something, I was still fat for a bodybuilder. So like, you can get away with short and aggressive. Pair that up with a training phase that's not tied to loads of strength stuff, so it's a bit safer as well. Bit of a break from the strength stuff. 2 weeks, maximum of 6 weeks. Get it over and done with. Anyway, come back to these numbers. So for those numbers, if you're going super aggressive side of things, what you could do is 20 calories per kilo. That's super aggressive for a fat loss. So for this example, that'd be 2,000 calories. That means they've got 100 calories left. Each gram of carbs is 4 calories. So that would mean they only had 25 grams of carbs. So in that circumstance, that's very, very unsustainable, very impractical. I would take more of the calories from fats and put them onto carbs. But like I say, that'd be short, sharp, get it over and done with. For maintenance, for lots of people, it would be about 30 times your body weight. So the 100 kilo person, their maintenance is now 3,000 calories. So instead, they now have 1,100 calories spare. So what that means is they now have 1,100 divided by 4, 275 grams of carbs. So for maintenance for that athlete, you've got 250 protein, 275 carbs, and 100 fat. Dead simple. If they were in a gaining phase, see people, it's unusual to have someone whose calorie needs are more than 40 calories per kilo, but it does happen. So for the sake of this, we'll go with 40, so that's 4,000 calories. So that means that they have a remaining 2,100 calories for carbs, and 2,100 divided by 4 is 525. So in that example, 250 protein, 525 carbs, and 100 fat. That would be their targets. That's the big thing for nutrition for strength. That's just the basic stuff. So this does not take into account how they feel, what time they train, their food preferences, what irritates their stomach, all that stuff. But this is just basic energy blocks. So that's just the basics of the fuel. The next thing that I personally would look at is distributing that, the protein especially, relatively evenly throughout the day. So 250, for convenience sake, say 5 meals, 50 grams of protein a meal, dead simple. And on that 4,000 calories, if we take the calories, split them evenly, 800 calories a meal, nice and straightforward. Then, I've said about this before, I take half of the carbs from the meals furthest away from training, put it in the meals closest to training. And then, the next thing is starting to look at individual foods and their individual preferences, tolerances, and gut reactions essentially. So, in terms of changes to the body composition, the stuff I've talked about up to this point, and for basic strength stuff, is the most important. It's more binary, it's black and white, you're either eating enough or you're not eating enough. But the stuff I'm going to talk about now is, although it's not as important from that perspective, it's more important from a performance perspective and a health perspective, which does impact performance. So, with any of this stuff, you can go from a -10 to a 0, and from a 0 to a 10. So a -10, for example, for me, would be having lactose every day. It gives me a real bad stomach. I don't keep food in. It's not pretty. It makes me feel bloated, makes me feel uncomfortable. I start getting spots, get like congested. So for me, that's like a minus. So by not having lactose, that brings my baseline nutrition to health and everything up to a high number. Next thing is trying to make it better. So first thing is get rid of anything that just makes you feel crap. That's real scientific, I know. You'd think it's just common sense. If you eat something regularly and it makes you feel rubbish, don't have it, Next thing is adding in things that are good for you. So in general, fibre is a positive. In general, fruits and vegetables are positive. In general, meat is positive. So having more of the things have a more positive impact. More vitamins, minerals, micronutrients. Make sure all that stuff's working. Because that will make you feel better, you perform better, you'll ultimately end with a better outcome. And then, along the same vein, you can start to look at more and more habits within that. So, are you having foods that pass through you nicely? They don't cause you to get bloated. They don't cause you to have funny looking boos. They cause you to have normal bowel movements. Are they foods that you actually enjoy eating? And then, when it comes to the actual eating of them, this is like really going off on a tangent. Now I got onto this. When you eat the food, you actually chew it. You chew it properly. It's not just mouthful, swallow, swallow, and so on. You're actually taking the time to chew the food and eat it. Because the mastication, it's called mastication, the chewing part of the process is part of the digestion of food, so you need to do that properly. And you're then making sure you're having enough fluid with it, because fluid obviously helps food move through the gut. The gut's massive, it's not just like everything just goes and sits and that's it. It's moving. There's other things that's going on. So you're doing that as well. And the other thing with the food, are you moving? Are you moving your body? So outside of your training sessions, are you just sat being a potato, or are you actually getting up and moving? So this movement here, I don't know what you can see. I don't know if you can see my belly. I don't know if you can hear it. But as I'm cycling like this, there's a little bit of lateral movement side to side. Not being particularly strict, but the muscles around my abdomen will be essentially massaging my entire gut, which will help with digestion. This is called peristalsis, the process by which the tubes in your GI tract squeeze the food essentially, help it digest and move through. If you don't have any movement, that can slow down. If you do have movement, it can help keep things moving. So, For that, you could look at like going for a walk, which I hear is pretty good for you. Doing your cardio, obviously exercise. If you're a strength athlete, you should be exercising. And other things like that to make sure that you actually just feel good. And then you can start going off down different routes of different nutritional ideas and stuff, but that becomes a lot more personalized and not something that I'll go through like right now. And then you can look at things like supplements. Like, what supplements are you taking that you should or shouldn't be? So for example, say you live in the UK and it's freezing and dark and you don't get any vitamin D. Might be worth taking some vitamin D if you can't practically go somewhere and get some more. Maybe it might be worth you taking, I thought I was going to sneeze then, maybe you might take vitamin C for whatever reason, maybe you're deficient. Whatever the thing is, you want to make sure it's something you're actually deficient in before taking it for the sake of taking it. The exception to that is creatine. Super studied, super high benefit, super consistently shows benefits in trials and is safe. So creatine, basically everyone should take it, unless weight is a concern. So like if you're a cyclist, you might take creatine in your off season whilst you're doing your training, power training, whatever, and then not take it on race day. Not taking it and lead up to race because you might retain a couple of extra kilos, which for that could make a difference. But for us, for strength sports, not going to make much of a difference. Right, one last look at this. See if there's any more. I need to blow my nose. Best to bench. Like, sometimes I think these people don't watch every single thing I've ever done ever. It's just bizarre to me, you know. My best bench ever is 160. And that'll be it for today. So, I've done 31 minutes and 5 seconds with a heart rate average of 125 and a heart rate max of 139. It says I burnt 300 calories. I doubt that. So I'm doing this. One is for the benefits with the nutrition stuff I said about, keeping everything moving. I thought I was going to let some gas go. Would have proved my point though, wouldn't it? Two is for general health. It's good. I find it helps keep my blood pressure nice and low, my resting heart rate nice and low, and my training performance better. And then as I get closer to competition, I'll drop it out, as I've talked about before. I'll gradually lower it down until we get closer and closer. So that's it for today. Tomorrow morning is pendulum squat, hamstring curl, pendulum squat, leg extension, back extension, weighted sit-up, Jefferson curls, tibs and calves, pull downs and cardio. But I have a feeling that my diary is different. What's the date today? 16th. Let's have a look at the 17th. I have calls, a couple of calls early morning, and then I'll be training. Weird one tomorrow. So I'll probably be up early-ish. I might do the cardio then, but I'm not sure. I've got appointments 10 until 1, and then I've got marks down to train 1 until 3, and then I've got appointments again 3 until 7:30. What I might do tomorrow then is, instead of filming the first thing on a morning, because with the layout of this house, so there's my office here, there's a small room, and the next room after that is a bedroom, so I don't wake Rach up. I might film on the night when I do a bit of stretching and stuff instead. Just get an update of what's going on in the day. And then Thursday, train in the morning, swim in the afternoon. And then it's almost like the weekend is where the fun begins. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. like my strength sessions, so they should be good. For this week, I don't think I've even got it saved. Don't think I've written up what I'm doing this week. No, that's not the right one. I'm fairly sure I've got a 140 bench, which would be nice. Maybe a 230-ish squat, something like that. That should be good. I'm going to go and buy as well some more mats from the garage. I'm still like a little bit unsure if what I've got is enough to deadlift properly. And although I can control them, like hitting a set aggressively and with loads of control, it's like it's not quite the same. But I don't want to break the garage. We've had enough problems with this house. I don't want to break the flooring, so I might get some more mats maybe in the middle of this week. Yeah, and then it looks like the laptop's finished doing something. What I will look at doing is start getting these videos edited so that I can get them up and running. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I've got made. So today is the 16th, and I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos made. So that would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this video is out on the 23rd, then I am caught back up and I've posted the 6 videos before it. It's going to be tight to get that done. But with a new laptop, maybe I can get it done faster. And then if so, what that will mean is, so from that week, so this will be episode number 36, 7, 8, 9, 40, 41. So 42 will be there, 49, 56, 65, 72, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Episode 78 will be the next competition. And I think Phil is going to come film that, so that should be cool. So episode 78 will be good. And then that'll be 85, 92. Oh, that'll be 99. That'll be 106. Episode, it will be 105. So if I get the 700 total of the March competition, that would be episode 105. I might just like skip a few days so I can make it episode 100. I think that would be cool. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna go get a shower. I'm gonna get some of my last food for the day, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow. If anyone does want to get any of the last few spaces for the coaching, send me a message. I'm at Dr. Adam Sawyers on everything. Probably Instagram. I'm fairly active on Instagram. If you send me a DM on Instagram, I'll go on the website or Telegram or whatever. We'll chat them. Great. Take care, guys.